Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? Okay. 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 I hope you all are fine, doing very well. Okay. So after long time, we are meeting this way. Shall we start? Okay. Okay. Uh, it's my kind request you all to be very attentive. The reason behind this is, as per instructions, we are supposed to upload these lectures on YouTube channel, and we are going to have interactive session. So this will reflect your quality as well as teacher's quality. Am I right? So please be attentive, and it's my kind request to at least CR to be in interaction with me, and all those, whenever you want to speak you can unmute yourself. Shall I wait for the joining students or shall I start? I think we should start. I welcome you all for this virtual classroom from the Department of Community Medicine. And without wasting time, let's begin with our new topic. We are going to have discussion on the chapter Nutrition and Health. The name of chapter is Nutrition and Health. Now let's first see introduction. As far as introduction is concerned, we will try to understand how this topic is important for your exam and how it will help you in your practice. As far as exam significance is concerned, your MUHS exams are concerned. In theory examination, this topic is very important. You can't exclude a single concept from this topic. Okay. Now, as far as question paper pattern is concerned, you will be asked SAQs or you will be asked LAQs. So, for SAQs as well as for LAQs, you may get question from this topic. Still students are joining. It creates disturbance for me. Okay. So for SAQs as well as LAQs, there can be 2 marks question. There can be 5-mark question from this chapter. There can be 10 marks or even there can be 20 marks question that can be asked from this chapter. So don't miss any topic from this chapter. I said SAQs can also be asked. LAQs can also be asked from this chapter. You may get questions for 2 marks also, for 5 marks as well as for 10 or 20. So anywhere this topic can be covered as far as your MUHS exam questions are concerned. Regarding practical examination and this chapter, there are spottings or spotters will be for your exam, and these spotters will be related with different food specimens that can be asked, where you are supposed to write its nutritive value or the disease conditions related with these samples or whatever Specimens you might have seen in our department in nutrition corner, that can be cereals or pulses. So different things can be there for your practical examination. Now, what is practical application? Exam will get over in 1.5 year, and after that, you are supposed to apply this topic in practice. Am I right? So, for practical application, this topic is very important because you can plan diet. So, diet planning it is required for healthy individuals, and even modification of diet it is required in certain disease conditions. Another important thing, whenever you will see patients in your OPD, you can do nutritional assessment of your patient. So assessment of nutritional status is one of the most important thing, and once you understand these topic in very well manner, it will be simple thing to identify different deficiencies in your patients. So most important aspect that will be required for you in day to day practice is nutritional assessment, how you are going to assess your patients. And another is diet planning for healthy individuals and modification of diet for diseased individuals, or simply what you can say, dietary advice, what dietary advice you are going to give to your patients. So with this introduction we will proceed further. First we will start with some definitions before going into details of this aspect. Definition, there are very few definitions which can be asked in SAQs for 2 marks. One by one, we will see it. First, as we said, name of our topic is nutrition and health. First important thing to understand is what is nutrition. So, nutrition we can define it as science of food and its relationship to health. I said science of food and its relationship to health. Two keywords in this definition. I said science of food and its relationship to health. The definition is very simple to write, but we will try to understand what we are going to study in this chapter related with the nutrition. Whatever different scientific aspects of food are there, that we are going to study. So this is related with health, and how it is related with health. So just few examples right now I will take so that you can understand in short how nutrition or how food is related with our health. Now whenever we take food, our body gets different nutrients. These nutrients, I think all of you know, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Okay. Now, there are certain possibilities that how this food can affect our health. So, first possibilities is whenever we take nutrients, these nutrients are not taken in adequate amount, or there is deficiency. So, whenever there is deficiency of specific nutrients, or even whenever there is a deficiency of calories, both things can be deficient in our food. There can be deficiency of calories, or there can be deficiency of nutrients. How it can affect our health? Whenever deficient calories are taken, it can lead to undernutrition. And whenever deficient nutrients are taken, it can lead to various deficiency disorders. For example, xerophthalmia. There are so many things, rickets, osteomalacia. Okay, So is it clear with the deficiency? Now what is another possibility is excess. Whatever food we take or whatever nutrients are taken, if they are taken in excess amount, if excess calories are consumed, or if excess nutrients are taken, these may affect our health in other way. Excess consumption of calories can lead to obesity. Details of this aspect we are going to discuss later on. This is just introduction, so try to understand deficient intake of food, excess intake of food, it can affect our health. One more possibility is whatever food we consume may get contaminated, and consumption of contaminated food, it can give rise to various intestinal infections. Different intestinal infections, I think already we had covered. So it may give rise to food poisoning, it may give rise to poliomyelitis, it can be cholera, it can be typhoid fever, or contaminated food may give rise to diarrhea, dysentery, it can be amoebiasis, or it can be ascariasis. Just from intestinal infections which are included in your syllabus, three important diseases which are not related with the food you should have to remember. And it includes hepatitis B or hepatitis D infection, where the entire mode of transmission is different. Second is hookworm infection. As you know, the hookworm will penetrate the skin and enter, so not related with the food. And third one is dracunculiasis, that is guinea worm disease. It is entirely related with the water. So though this nutrition topic in K-Park, it is concerned with different intestinal infections, there are few diseases that you should have to remember which are not concerned with consumption of food. So one possibility we said deficiency of food. Secondly, we said excess intake of calories. Third thing, we said contaminated food. And there is one more possibility that the food that we consume, it may contains different types of toxins. And there is one more possibility of food adulteration. So for monetary gains, there might be food adulteration, and these things may affect our health. With this, there are certain conditions that are related, like lathyrism, like aflatoxicosis. Another important thing is epidemic dropsy, endemic ascites. All these are 5 marks question which we are going to discuss later on in detail. So this is just introductory part to food or nutrition, how it is related with the health. Now another term in this is health. Now regarding health, what are various concepts like definition of health given by World Health Organization, concept of well-being, positive health. There are different dimensions of health, different determinants of health, and different indicators of health. But these topics, what I said, is positive health, dimensions, determinants, and indicators. We are going to study in separate chapter, that is concept of health and disease. So in this chapter, our focus will be entirely related with the nutrients and the diseases that are related with these nutrients. Is it clear with this definition of nutrition? Now in definition of nutrition, we said it is science of food and its relationship to health. What is food now? Food, it includes those factors which supply nourishment or energy when it is consumed. So what is most important thing is here is energy or nourishment. Please try to understand my handwriting. Yeah. So food, it means those factors which supply nourishment or energy when it is consumed. So whenever we consume food, what our body gets, it gets either energy, and rather in other words we can say food is very essential for proper nourishment of human body. Nutrients, this is the definition which is frequently asked in your exams for 2 marks. So please try to understand all details related with the nutrients. First thing, to understand nutrients, they are also called as food factors. Nutrients, they are also called as food factors. So don't forget, if in exam instead of define nutrients, if you will get question like define food factors, you are supposed to write definition of nutrients. Now whatever food we consume, it includes different dietary constituents. Okay, in simple terms we can call these dietary constituents as nutrients. In terms of chemistry, what are nutrients? Nutrients are organic or inorganic complexes which are present in food. These are either organic or inorganic. So just two words you are supposed to remember or you are supposed to understand. Whatever different organic and inorganic complexes that are present in food, we are going to call it as nutrients. So first thing we said different dietary constituents which we can call it as nutrients, and in relation to chemistry we can say these are organic or inorganic complexes which are present in our food which we can call it as nutrients. Nutrients, they are also called as food factors. Don't forget, this is the most important terminology, food factors. These nutrients, they are classified into two, macronutrients and second is micronutrients. First, we will see about macronutrients. I think all of you know macronutrients. It includes carbohydrates, it includes proteins, and it includes fats. One more thing, one more terminology for macronutrients you are supposed to know. It is that macronutrients are also called as proximate principles. They are also called as proximate principles. Yeah, so for nutrients, we said food factors. For macronutrients, we said they are also called as proximate principles. Why they are called as proximate principles? Because the proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, it forms main bulk of our food. So if you will see the food that we consume, major portion of our food, it is composed of these macronutrients. Don't forget, macronutrients are also called as proximate principles. Micronutrients, I think all of you know, it includes vitamins and it includes minerals. Vitamins and minerals. Now, why these are called as micronutrients? The reason is very simple. If you will divide it, this terminology into two parts, micro and nutrients, you can get the answer. These nutrients, they are required in very small amount. That's why we are calling these as micronutrients. One more definition we will see, it is of diet. Now, diet, it is defined as a kind of food on which a person lives, and diet plays important role in health promotion and disease prevention. I said whatever food we take and upon which our survival depends, we call it as diet. But it is important to understand what is role of diet. This diet will help us in health promotion. Okay, health को अगर हमें promote करना है तो diet is important, and prevention किसका है? Prevention is of diseases. It is disease prevention and health promotion. Many times students makes mistake in these terminologies. Please remember, डाइट से हमें हेल्थ को प्रमोट करना है और डिजीज को प्रिवेंट करना है. सो डाइट इज what kind of food we are taking upon which the person lives, and the diet is one which plays important role in health promotion and disease prevention. One more terminology is dietetics. Dietetics is what? There are certain principles of nutrition. There are different principles that are related with the nutrition. We are going to discuss these principles in today's lecture only. Different principles of nutrition. When these principles, they are applied in practice, it is called as dietetics. So dietetics, it is practical application of principles of nutrition. Is it clear? Dietetics, practical application of principles of nutrition. What term you can see on your screen? It is balanced diet. Basically, it is SAQ, which is frequently asked. Details we are going to discuss later on, but right now we will just try to understand what is balanced diet. Balanced diet is one which provides adequate amount of various nutrients as per nutritional requirements. What we said, what our body should get? Our body should get different nutrients. And in what proportion we should get? It should be as per the requirements. So whenever we plan balanced diet, the nutrients should be supplied in such a way that it should fulfill the nutritional requirements of a person. And it is important to understand nutritional requirements. It differs or it changes with various factors, like it changes with the age, it changes with the type of work. Nutritional requirements varies during pregnancy, it varies during lactation, even during disease condition we are supposed to change the nutritional requirements. So all these factors should be taken into consideration. For balanced diet, what we said, nutritionally balanced diet is one which provides adequate amount of various nutrients as per nutritional requirements. Now, when we take nutritionally adequate diet, simply we can call it as a good diet. Whenever we say it is a good diet or nutritionally adequate diet, it offers resistance against diseases. And thus we can say it plays important role in prevention of disease. So right now we said food is important for health promotion and disease prevention. So for this purpose, the food we take or the diet we take, it should be good diet or it should be nutritionally adequate diet. So first thing is disease prevention. Another important thing, nutritionally adequate diet. It is essential for recovery from illnesses. Simply, it is a major component in management of several diseases. तो डिजीज से जब भी रिकवरी होती है उस टाइम भी दिस एडिक्वेट डाइट इज एसेंशियल. डिजीजेस को प्रिवेंट करना है तो फॉर प्रिवेंशन ऑल्सो न्यूट्रिशनली एडिक्वेट डाइट इज essential. So simply what we can say, whenever a person takes good diet or nutritionally adequate diet, it ensures healthy life. And for this purpose, proper knowledge of nutrition is required. Proper knowledge of nutrition, it is required for planning diet. It is required for planning of diet. Diet you can plan for healthy individuals, and it is also required for modification of the diet in diseased person. So simply, whenever you are going to study this entire chapter, you must take proper knowledge related with the nutrition so that you can plan diet for healthy individuals and you can give advice to diseased individuals regarding what modification they are supposed to do in their diet. So here I will give you simple example of diabetes. All those persons who are suffering from diabetes, you give them dietary advice. Am I right? You tell them to restrict sugar, or to be specifically, there should be restriction of refined carbohydrates and even simple carbohydrates in their diet. So this is what you are doing, modification, by giving dietary advice to your patient. So remember, nutritionally adequate diet is very essential, which plays important role in disease prevention, which is important during a recovery period from illnesses, which is important. Modification of this diet, it is important. Am I audible? Hello? Sure? Okay. Because I got message, time is running out. That's why I'm asking you. Okay. And are you getting what I am talking? Because you are not in front of you and it's very difficult. Yeah? Okay. So, thank you. Thank you. So, what thing is essential? You must have appropriate knowledge related with the nutrition, and this is related with the principles of nutrition. Details of this right now we will see, but before that, just see one more thing is we talked about food and we said how food is related with our health, but the basic thing, why we consume food, why food is essential, or why there is requirement of food. Most important thing why food is required is energy. So whatever food we consume, it includes different energy yielding foods or energy yielding nutrients. These specific nutrients, they provide us energy. तो फूड से हमें क्या मिलने वाला है? एनर्जी. And this energy, it is required for different vital activities. It is required for different vital activities like pumping of heart, maintenance of respiration, keeping our body warm. It is required for various metabolic activities, and even some amount of energy. It is also required at rest also. Additional energy expenditure It is required when we do some muscular exercises or muscular activities, and even energy expenditure. It is related in relation to environmental factors, seasons like cold environment. So, most important requirement of food, why we consume food. Initially, in the definition, we said our body get nourishment from the food, whatever things we take in the food. But this food specifically, it provides energy which is essential for various vital activities in our body. Another important thing is whenever we take food, our body gets different nutrients. So we can obtain nutrients from food. And these nutrients, once again, I repeat, from food we can get proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, which are essential. And all these nutrients play n number of roles in our body. But just to summarize, we can say for the growth, food forms the basis of growth in children. It is very, very essential for growing children. And even it is required for formation of new tissues, for repair and n number of functions for which food is required. So basically, why food is required, how food is related with our health, what different nutrients are there, what are various functions related with these nutrients. If we won't consume it in adequate amount, what can happen? If they are consumed in excess amount, what can happen? All this is the basic understanding that is related with the nutrients. Now we said there are various things. Dietetics, can you recall what we said? Dietetics, it is practical application of principles of nutrition. So whenever the principles of nutrition they are practically applied, we call it as dietetics. Now when imagine the condition when a person takes food, the proportion of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins and minerals, it should be optimal. And how we can come to know that these nutrients are taken in optimal amount or not. So for this purpose, it is important to understand the scientific basis. And this scientific basis, it is known as different principles of nutrition or different principles of dietetics. So here, what important thing you should have is appropriate scientific knowledge that are related with. So once again, I highlight this. I am saying it is knowledge. For exam, you get information. You tries to collect information. You try to write it, but try to acquire appropriate knowledge that is related with principles of dietetics. Now let's try to understand. Basically, practically this part is related with the dietitian, but right now we will see some principles how we can apply this for planning the diet. The first important thing which is related when applying this knowledge practically is you should have to pay attention to calories that we are supplying to the person. So whatever calorie need is there, whatever calorie requirement is there, it should be satisfied appropriately. So whenever we are saying calorie requirement should be satisfied appropriately, there are two possibilities. First one is this whatever requirement is there, it is fulfilled appropriately. Or there can be less supply of calories, or on the other hand, there can be excess supply of calories. Both conditions will be harmful. Less supply can also cause harm, and excess supply can also cause harm to the patient. So, first thing we should have to pay attention to appropriate fulfillment of calorie requirement. And we should know that extra calories are required for growing children. Whenever children they are growing, their calorie requirement is extra, that should be fulfilled. Even during pregnancy and lactation, the calorie requirement is more, so that should also be fulfilled. The calorie requirement in relation to type of work, the person doing sedentary work or the person doing laborious work, the person who is doing laborious work will definitely need extra calories. So which people requires extra calories, that basic should be very clear. And in addition, now you should know the amount of calories that are supplied. The amount of calories that are supplied by 1 gram, so we will just take 1 gram of protein. 1 gram of protein, it supplies 4 kilocalories. Same amount of calories you can get from 1 gram of carbohydrate. Okay, it is 4 kilocalories. And if we talk about 1 gram of fats, the number will change here, which is 9 kilocalories. Okay, so whenever we are planning diet, what amount of calories are given by these nutrients you should know. So these are approximated figures. Basically, you may get the value in points, but just to memorize it easily, we can say 1 gram of protein, 1 gram of carbohydrate, and 1 gram of fats. The calorie requirement will vary. Okay, it is same for proteins, carbohydrates, it is more for fats. So in terms of calories, what we can say for fats? Fats are concentrated sources of energy. So when you will read fat, you will get first term like this, first sentence like this: fats are concentrated source of energy. Now is it clear why we are saying that these are concentrated source? Because as compared to proteins and carbohydrates, we are getting more calories from fats. Now whenever diet is planned, there should be appropriate or adequate in these constituents. The protein requirement must be fulfilled. It is very very essential that protein requirement must be fulfilled. And how we can calculate what amount of proteins is required? So for adults, we are talking right now for adults. For adults, the criteria is very simple. Okay, for this, just one thing we are supposed to know is weight in kg of that person. So adult person, if you know weight of that adult person, we can estimate the protein requirement of that person. Here you can take your own example. Whatever your weight is there, okay, simply that number. Say for example, a person having weight of 50 kg, the protein requirement for this person becomes 50 grams. 50 grams proteins will be required. Is it simple? So what criteria we are using for adult? 1 gram per kg body weight. So for 1 kg, 1 gram should be taken, and according to weight, you can estimate the protein required. Now, whenever you think of consumption of these nutrients in our diet, the priority should be given first thing to fulfill your protein requirement, followed by fat, and then to carbs, that is carbohydrates. In addition to these proximate principles, that is protein, fats, and carbohydrates, attention should also be paid to include vitamins and minerals. So vitamins and minerals should be included in adequate amount. In addition to this, so right now we talked about macronutrients or proximate principles that should be included. We talked about micronutrients, that is vitamins and minerals, that should be included. And in addition, you should not forget to include dietary fibers in diet. Dietary fibers should be included in diet. Now Why it is essential? Already you might have studied in surgery while you are giving advice to the patients suffering from constipation. What you tell is to take or to increase amount of dietary fibers. These dietary fibers, in simple terms, these are the carbohydrates which are not digested in our body. And since they are not digested, they helps to keep our intestine clean. So most important function related with the health is of dietary fibers. So in addition to these nutrients, it is essential to include dietary fibers in our diet. There is one more possibility that whenever food is processed, processing of food can be done right from farms. It can be industrial processing, or even it can be various cooking processes that we use in our homes. So, what can happen? There can be loss of some nutrients during cooking processes. Okay, loss of nutrients may occur during cooking processes, and it should be taken into consideration. Say for example, when we apply heat whenever we are boiling leafy vegetables, there can be loss of water soluble B group vitamins if they are excess boiled, or simply it can be washing process. If rice is repeatedly washed and that water is thrown out, even it can cause loss of nutrients. So there are various things that are related with the processing. So this can be thermal application, it can be boiling, it can be deep frying, or even it can be prolonged storage of food that can also cause loss of nutrients. So loss of nutrients should also be taken into consideration while planning diet. In addition to this, digestibility of food should be taken into consideration. So there are various things that interferes with digestion of certain nutrients. We are going to discuss this in cereals later on. It should be taken into consideration. Now when you plan diet for your patients, you should have to take into consideration the various food habits and various religious or other taboos. Okay, so different habits related with consumption of food, it changes. So North Indians, they are having their different style of eating. South Indians, they are having different style of eating. So whatever things are available in that particular area, it should be taken into consideration. And the taboos, taboos is, there is restriction of consuming certain types of foods in certain religions, right? So this should be taken into consideration. There are so many factors when you plan diet, or when we apply these principles of dietetics, it should be taken into consideration. So now, once again, nutrition, it deals with what? Is it only nutrients, their requirements, in what proportion we should have to take? No. So it deals with so many things, and these things in your syllabus we are going to discuss under 5 different heads. Okay, so different specific nutrients we are going to consider. In addition to that, what are various nutritional requirements, how it changes, that we are going to discuss. Then, as in the beginning, I said assessment of nutritional status. This is the most important things, is how we are going to assess nutritional status. Assessment of nutritional status. It is another important thing, and the most important thing which is important in India is various problems related to nutrition. So simply we can call it as nutritional health problems, or nutritional problems in public health, like protein energy malnutrition, and there are so many things. And in order to combat with these problems, government of India have started different nutritional programs. So we are going to deal with that aspect also. So what we said, all nutrients you should know in detail, how to assess nutritional status that you should know. You should know various health problems related to nutrition in India and what initiative government of India has taken to combat with these problems. Okay, so there are so many things that nutrition deals with. Yeah, this is given in your book, so we will just go through this changing concepts, how the concepts related with the food have changed. So you just listen carefully. Early in the 19th century, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates had been recognized as energy yielding foods. Discovery of vitamins and the science of nutrition played important role. Whatever vitamins are known nowadays and essential amino acids are known, they had been discovered in about 1950s. Nutrition has its root in physiology and biochemistry. That's why it was regarded as branch of physiology. The knowledge of nutrition and knowledge of dietetics was greatly advanced during last 50 years. Specific nutritional diseases like protein energy malnutrition, endemic goiter, nutritional anemia, nutritional blindness, diarrheal diseases were identified, and also the technologies have been developed to control these diseases. Influence of nutrition into other fields like agricultural, animal husbandry, economics, and sociology, it led to green revolution, white revolution, and increased food production in India. Although the production of food was increased, still the poorer population continued to suffer from malnutrition. For this reason, nutrition attracted international attention as a cause of social problems. Thus, international activities in the field of nutrition was initiated by League of Nations. Later on, these international activities are continued by Food and Agricultural Organization, World Health Organization, and UNICEF. Recent discovery in the field of nutrition is very important. It is role of dietary factors in the pathogenesis of non-communicable diseases like coronary heart disease, diabetes, etc. In recent year, another new concept has emerged. It is nutrition is the cornerstone of socio-economic development. And nutritional problems are not only medical problems, but they are multifactorial problems. These nutritional problems have their roots in other sectors of development like education, demography, agriculture, rural development, etc. The old concept that only health sector is responsible for all nutritional ills of community has faded away, and now it is realized that a broad intersectoral and integrated approach of sectors of development is needed to tackle the problems related with nutrition. In Health for All, promotion of proper nutrition is one of the important element of primary health care. Nutritional indicators have been developed to monitor the health for all, and now great emphasis is given on formulation of national dietary goals to promote nutritional status of families and communities. So this is the how different concepts related with the nutrition has been changed. But right now you should understand it is not only the medical sector which can tackle all the problems related with the nutrition, but there should be intersectorial approach. That is, there is education, health education of the people, nutrition education of the people. It is important. Development in agricultural sector is important. Rural development is important, and population control, it is also equally important if we want to tackle the problems that are related with the nutrition. So this is the key message from this changing concepts. One more terminology is there, nutritional epidemiology. Nutritional epidemiology, basically currently nutrition, it is related with the epidemiology, and it is very important because epidemiological assessment, it is very essential. So right now we said in the beginning, in your practice you can do nutritional assessment of your patient. Similarly, it is important to assess communities. It is important to assess nutritional aspect of the communities, and for this epidemiology is important. So what things we do here is it is concerned with the nutritional surveys. There are various surveys that can be conducted with nutrition. Say for example, in our nearby areas, if we want to find out how many under 5 children they are having vitamin A deficiency, so we can conduct survey and we can collect the information. So this is done through surveys, this is done through surveillance, and the most important aspect, it is related with the appropriate growth monitoring. It is related with appropriate growth monitoring of children. Growth monitoring, though we are saying here, we are going to discuss this in separate chapter, how to monitor growth. Okay, we are having different growth charts that we use up to 5 years of age, and we can assess the growth of the children. Another important aspect that is dealt in nutritional epidemiology is various nutritional interventions. Various nutritional interventions, again to promote health and to prevent diseases. Here also I will give you simple examples so that you can understand. Take example of endemic goiter. If we want to prevent endemic goiter, the nutritional intervention which is taken here is use of iodized salt. So if iodized salt is used, it helps to prevent occurrence of goiter. So this is one of the intervention. There are several other interventions also that are related with the nutritional epidemiology. Yeah. Now the most important aspect which is most frequently asked in your exam, this is 5 marks question and you must know this aspect, classification of food. How we are going to classify food. Food classification, it is based on 4 things. So first factor for classifying food we can consider is origin. Second, we can consider its predominant function. Third, we can consider its chemical composition, and fourth is according to nutritive value. According to nutritive value. Okay, so 4 things we are going to consider. Depending on origin, classification is very easy. I don't think so none of you can understand it. As we know, food we can get from plants and from animal. So it includes foods of animal origin and foods of plant origin. Second, हमें क्या देखना है, predominant function क्या है. It is based on predominant function of the food. So function, it is related with the 3 aspect. हमें यहाँ पे देखना है body building foods, okay, which helps in formation of new tissues and repairs, which mainly includes sources of proteins. Secondly, it includes energy yielding foods. So, what foods can give us energy or energy giving foods? It mainly includes cereals, sugars, roots, and tubers. And as right now we said, fats, which are the concentrated sources of energy. So, fats and oils. And third criteria, it is a protective foods. Protective foods, it mainly includes all those foods which supplies vitamins and minerals. So it mainly includes different vegetables, fruits, etc. So predominant function, we said bodybuilding, energy giving foods, and protective foods. Depending upon chemical composition, already you know these are nothing but 5 nutrients that you are supposed to write here. So depending on chemical composition, it includes proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Fourth criteria is very important, and if you will get question on this, don't forget to mention this point. So in addition to origin, function, composition, its nutritive value, which is very, very important, which is taken into consideration for classification of food. Then we'll go in decreasing order, the examples of foods having highest nutritive value. It mainly includes cereals and millets. Cereals, examples under cereals, it includes rice, wheat, maize, oats and barley. Do you know all these things? Rice, सबको पता है, wheat है, maize है, मक्का, it can be barley or even oats. Millets. Millets, it mainly includes jowar, bajra and ragi. Ragi is नाचनी. सो जोवर आता है, बाजरा आता है, रागी आता है मिलेट्स में, सीरियल्स एंड मिलेट्स. Second in order is pulses and legumes. Pulses and legumes, it includes all different grams. Bengal gram, green gram, red gram, black gram. Boys, it might be difficult for you to understand. Okay, मुगाची डाळ, तुरीची डाळ, या सगळ्या ज्या डाळी येतात, that you can include in pulses. Okay. Then it includes soybean, it includes lentils, even it includes peas and whole chana. All these things. थोडक्यात काय, डाळी आणि कडधान्य म्हणजे पल्सेस आणि लेग्युम्स. सिरियल्स आणि मिलेट्स म्हणजे ग्रेन्स, जे काही आपण ग्रेन्स म्हणतो ते सगळे सिरियल्स मिलेट्समध्ये येतात. पल्सेस आणि लेग्युम्समध्ये सगळ्या डाळी आणि कडधान्य. ओके, सो फर्स्ट इन रँक इज सिरियल्स, मिलेट्स, सेकंड इज pulses and legumes, third is vegetables. In vegetables, we can classify our vegetables as leafy vegetables like spinach, fenugreek, amaranth, cabbage, or it can be roots and tubers, potato, sweet potato, radish, etc. And others, it can include brinjal, tomato, ladyfinger. So this is just categorization, but the third rank you should know it is of vegetables. Next, it includes nuts and oil seeds. Nuts, it includes groundnuts, sesame seeds, mustard seeds. These are oil seeds, sunflower seeds, from which we can extract the oil. And nuts, it includes wherever there is nuts in the end, that is groundnut. It can be cashew nut, it can be coconut, and in addition, you should have to remember almond and pistachio in this category. So I repeat, we said cereals and millets, pulses and legumes, vegetables, nuts, oil seeds, then is rank of animal foods. And after that, it includes condiments and spices. Condiments and spices के पहले फ्रूट्स है, एनिमल फूड्स है, फैट्स ऑयल्स है, शुगर जैगरी है. Tomorrow again we will have quick review on this classification, and we will continue with our topic. Now just give me your attendance. It's my kind request for CR, to CR, just for cross checking, please take the screenshots of participants and send it to me. Rijwan Ansari, Boite Nikita, आकांक्षा, ऋतुजा,